Welcome to the Husqvarna Norden 901 intensive test. Long and eagerly awaited, it is finally here. The Husqvarna Norden 901 has been on my mind since the first contact at the EICMA 2019. Is it perhaps even more than the fantastic driving dynamics of the group sister KTM 890 Adventure, packed in an elegant dress? 2 weeks of testing in Spain bring the answer. The inline two-cylinder in the Norden 901 is a terrific engine. No wonder, since the mother company KTM is known for producing great engines. The well-known 889cc parallel twin with its 105 horsepower and 100 Nm torque is perfectly dimensioned. I speak of the driving behavior with the engaged country road hunt without pillion. Here one can make it also with 65 HP output, which mark at present the maximum point in the travel enduro segment, but not a significant number on the Norden 901. We tried it out with the Ducati Multistrada V4S, fully loaded and in pairs or on routes with very long connecting straights and a certain ignorance towards the speed limits presupposed. It probably looks a bit different. Off-road, however, the 105 horses are clearly more than anyone can put on the ground. The two-cylinder engine is incredibly refined, has a linear power delivery, enough punch from below, but can also be revved up to the restrictor without any problems. There is no longer any trace of the strong vibrations and violent chain whipping at low revs from the legendary single-cylinder days at KTM. In combination with the quickshifter, which acts flawlessly in all situations, it is really hard to find a fly in the ointment with this drive. Of course, I cannot judge long-term performance and reliability after 2, although extensive test weeks. With such a magnificent power unit between the legs, even the most reserved pilot will be tempted to give the Norden a spur every now and then. Of course, the chassis has to play along to keep the fun from coming to an abrupt end. On paper, the Norden 901 with fully adjustable suspension elements has all the prerequisites to find the setup according to personal preferences after a little adjustment. However, even full adjustability can't do away with one circumstance. The suspension travel is long, very long, especially when compared to competitors in the class. Even with a firmer setup, the basic setting is selected rather comfort-oriented. The fork dip strongly noticeable when braking sharply. Once you get used to this circumstance, however, the Norden 901 can still be moved damn fast. The Payload Scorpion Rally STR tires, which are suitable for off-road use, are the limit on paved surfaces. The brakes could also have a negative effect on ambitious cornering. Fortunately, in the case of the Norden 901 it doesn't do that in any way. The 310mm double disc system at the front has no superbike initial bite, which would probably be rather counterproductive with the long suspension, but can be dosed very well and provides absolutely sufficient deceleration in all situations. The rear brake, which I like to use in tighter turns to stabilize the ride, also does a good job. The Husqvarna is an incredibly agile motorcycle despite its rim. Wheel combination in the classic enduro dimensions: 21 inches front wheel, 18 inches rear wheel. Here, the KTM genes come through in the most positive sense. Even on the 890 Adventure, I enjoyed this feeling in the saddle until the side cases grinded, and it wouldn't be any different on the Husky if it weren't for the Payload Scorpion Rally STRs. They are always surprisingly grippy for all-round tires, but in this setup, as already mentioned, they are the limiting component. More would certainly be possible here with pure road tires. One of the main reasons of the great pleasure that the Norden 901 gives you in the saddle is that itself. It may not be the most comfortable on long stages and certainly makes life difficult at times for people under 1.75 meters when using the Norden, but it rises only slightly and evenly towards the tank, thus allowing the pilot to easily move an adventure bike. In Supermoto mode, the seat height of the Husqvarna Norden 901 adjustable between 854 and 874 millimeters. These numbers probably do not put now also smaller pilots in fear and terror, but they are only half the truth. Because the decisive factor for how stress-free you can maneuver with a motorcycle is the crotch arc dimension. Unfortunately, we couldn't measure it, but the Norden 901 certainly has a longer one here due to its wide seat than other machines with this seat height. In direct comparison to the KTM 890 Adventure, this is particularly noticeable. This is only 20 millimeters lower, but builds in the transition area between tank and seat significantly narrower than its Nordic sister and is therefore also a good choice for people with shorter legs, for all those for whom it absolutely has to be the Norden. Husqvarna offers a lowering kit in the accessories. 22mm cost just under 600 euros. Who now thinks that the Norden 901 must be excellent for tall people, I can reassure at this point, because he is absolutely right. The knee angle is relaxed, the handlebars are wide. Otherwise, the Husqvarna offers impeccable ergonomics. All levers and buttons are located where you would expect them to be. The operating concept is logical, for people with KTM experience anyway, but also for everyone else. Electronically, the Norden 901 offers upper-class flair not only in the crystal clear, classy display of the well-known 5 inches TFT module. The animations in the display are nice and quickly make it clear what you're adjusting. The Explorer mode, which is available at extra cost, unleashes everything that the electronic helpers on the Husqvarna allow in terms of adjustability. Apps and traction control also work in the standard version depending on the lean angle and convince with almost imperceptible, but absolutely reliable interventions. On a positive note, cruise control is finally on board as standard on the Norden. The 3 driving modes next to the Explorer, Street, Rain and Off-Road are self-explanatory and do exactly what is expected of them. They can be selected via the control pad on the left-hand end of the handlebar. The connectivity package, which enables arrow navigation in the display, is available at extra cost. This is sufficient for navigating from A to B. We use Payload not only, but especially in areas where we do not know our way around to find particularly winding routes. To have the phone directly in view, we mount it on the handlebars with the SP Connect Moto bundle. The Husky's weak point is that there is no USB port in the cockpit, which puts a lot of strain on the smartphone battery. To keep the fingers warm and agile even at low temperatures, Husqvarna offers a grip heater for the Norden, but unfortunately this is an extra charge. The same applies to the seat heating for rider and pillion, which was not installed on our test bike. On longer stages or even on a trip, for which the Norden 901 should be equipped, one also appreciates other features on a motorcycle. One of them is a useful windbreak. Here the Norden maneuvers the owner into a dilemma. The wind protection on the upper body and head is simply insufficient with the beautiful low windshield integrated into the front. So either mount the accessory windshield for a fair €130 and ditch the elegance, or bite through it. If you want to be beautiful, you still have to suffer in 2022, at least with Husqvarna. The situation is completely different from the center of the body downwards. The wide fairing with the integrated fog lights and the beautifully concealed, low tank elements provide top wind and weather protection down below. A main stand is optionally available. Another feature that counts especially when traveling is the range. Here the Norden scores, less by its enormous tank which holds 19 liters of fuel than by its really restrained consumption. We never got above 5 liters, even when pushing hard. The resulting range of just under 400 kilometers is also a very good value in a class comparison. The same applies to the payload. The Norden 901 offers no less than 231 kilograms, which means that besides a full-grown pillion passenger, you can also shoulder a fair amount of luggage. When riding with 2 people, the payload is not the bottleneck. And the pillion seat cushion is also wide and can therefore accommodate practically any pillion passenger. The knee angle, on the other hand, is relatively drastic due to the high-mounted pillion footrest, and since the wind protection is already rather poor in row 1, the same applies in row 2. All in all, the Norden 901 still beats its KTM sister in this category, as it is the slightly roomier motorcycle. The Norden is no bargain, that much is certain. Equipped with some must-have extras, it easily breaks the €17,000 barrier in Austria. Here the circle of the competitors in the middle class becomes nevertheless very small, but it is exactly this little bit of exclusivity that you buy when you order the Norden 901. Finally, I would like to say a few words about the appearance of the Husqvarna Norden 901. For me it is definitely among the most beautiful adventure bikes on the market. The decision makers here are to be congratulated for bringing the production machine to market so closely based on the prototype.